You sit down, read a page 5 times, and feel perfectly prepared. 2 hours later, your brain deletes everything like it never existed. Most of us treat memory like a computer hard drive, where reading equals saving. But from a biological standpoint, your brain is a survival machine. It is designed to ruthlessly filter out and discard almost everything you passively consume to protect your focus. Long-term retention relies on the physical struggle of active reconstruction. This biological process only triggers when you force your brain to pull information from within, rather than looking at it on a page. Over the next few minutes, we are going to build a specific, science-backed routine called a bulletproof study block. By the end, you will have a protocol to move any topic through the stages of encoding and storage until it becomes a permanent memory. To start, you need a few items. Grab the text you want to memorize, a blank piece of paper, a pen, and a timer. Gathering these specific analog tools is step 1. You are physically removing yourself from the role of a passive consumer and setting the conditions necessary to force your brain into active reconstruction mode. Before you read a single word, take your phone, put it on Do Not Disturb, and physically remove it from your line of sight. Your brain attaches memory to the context of your physical environment. If you study with constant interruptions, your brain learns distraction. Shallow, fragmented attention guarantees shallow memory encoding. This brings us to step 2, the associative intake. Set your timer for 25 uninterrupted minutes. During this block, your goal is not to memorize. Your goal is simply to read the material and look for meaning. This animation shows how random, isolated facts behave in the brain. Rote memorization, trying to force raw data into your head, results in information that quickly fades away. To make it stick, you need to connect new facts to things you already understand. For instance, instead of memorizing the biological definition of ATP, picture it simply as a rechargeable battery pack for yourselves. Linking a concept to a weird or emotional association creates multiple pathways back to that single piece of information. When you need to retrieve the fact later, these associations act as structural supports, making recall significantly faster. The brain retains what it connects. The speed of your memorization depends entirely on the quality of the relationships you build during this reading phase, regardless of how much time you spend staring at the page. When your timer goes off, close your book completely. You need a hard physical boundary between input and retrieval. Now for step 3, the blurting protocol. Take your blank sheet of paper and write down everything you can possibly remember about the topic you just read. Do not worry about order, neatness, or perfect spelling. Just force the information out onto the page. Retrieval operates like a muscle, tearing and adapting under strain. You will likely only remember about 20% of the material, but that friction is a sign of biological success. That struggle to remember is the exact moment the neural pathway physically forms. Once you have exhausted your memory, move to step 4, error correction. Reopen your source material, take a different colored pen, and fill in every missing detail and mistake directly onto your blurting sheet. Using a different color flags the gaps in your knowledge. Because the brain is highly attuned to its own errors, it pays disproportionate attention to the specific facts you got wrong. Actively confronting and writing down these corrections physically rewires the neural pathway. The mental strain you feel while doing this is the literal mechanism of permanent retention. Even with deep encoding, your biology will still work against you. Within the first 24 hours, the brain attempts an aggressive dump of any new information that hasn't been reviewed. To prevent that deletion, pull up your calendar app and prepare to block out your follow-up sessions. This graph illustrates a schedule called spaced repetition. To interrupt the forgetting curve, you need to schedule quick review sessions exactly when your brain is about to drop the data. You do this on day 1, day 2, day 4, day 7, and day 14. To optimize these review days, use a tactic called interleaving. Instead of reviewing math for 3 hours straight, split your time. Do 45 minutes of math, switch to 45 minutes of biology, and then do 45 minutes of chemistry. Constantly switching subjects forces the brain to repeatedly re-engage and decide which strategy applies to which problem. That extra cognitive effort drastically hardens the memory. By scheduling these precise intervals of active recall, you protect the fragile initial memory from biological deletion. This transforms the panic of late-night cramming into a guaranteed system for permanent storage. Look at your desk. That messy sheet of paper and your populated calendar are the tangible physical proof that you have stopped passively reading and started actively reconstructing. But there is one final requirement to lock this in, and it happens completely away from your desk. You need deep sleep. You do not fully memorize while studying. It is during deep sleep that the brain replays the day's critical information, transferring those fragile, scattered short-term patterns and settling them into locked long-term storage. Pulling an all-nighter to study directly sabotages your results. You are skipping the exact stabilization process required to keep the information in your head. Moving forward, stop measuring your learning by hours in a chair or pages you highlighted. The only metric that matters is what you can reconstruct on a blank sheet of paper. True memorization is an unfair advantage, rooted entirely in systematic active reconstruction. It has nothing to do with innate intelligence. Now that you have the protocol, you have everything you need to master your next subject.